or download the MTN Device Insurance app on Google Play or App Store and get your phone in.
Live from digital address GA09933441. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. 7FM here in Accra. In Kumasi is live on Love 99.5 FM affiliates across Ghana, including App Store, to listen live on the internet. In this edition, preposterous. That's how the former Domelevo and the Audit Service Board. Also, government reviews oil exploration company Tullow will commit 300 energy minister as civil society groups ask government to empower GNPC to explore as international bleak economy is likely to persist for the next 3 years.
So it is not a rosy picture, and we've got to call a spade a spade. It's not available.
We hear from Finance Ministry, who says there's simply no money to pay, said the home ablaze at Medoma.
The woman told me the man had wet a blanket.
We have details of that and in sports.
Some good news as the Ghana Football Association have
raised today, Ebunu, not the green soup, but an indigenous game played by some children in Kumasi. All you need to compete in. We have that and more here in this edition of the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. This afternoon, the Audit Service Board has ordered the former Auditor General, Yao Domelevo, to within 2 weeks submit his handing over by Joy News. Mr. Domelevo describes the directive as preposterous, considering that he's been out of office, exchanges cited by Joy News. So, Ben, let's start with the letter from the Audit Service to Mr. Domelevo. What does it?
The letter is dated the 16th of March, which is yesterday, and it says, Mr. Daniel Yao Domelevo Accra, handing over of administration of Audit Service, March 2021, from the Office of the President regarding your retirement, copy attached, and request you to prepare a comprehensive handing over to the Audit Service. It's a substantive Auditor General. We would be grateful if you could complete the exercise within 2 weeks of receipt of the Jubilee House, the Chief of Staff, Jubilee House, and the Secretary to the President, Jubilee House as well. But in a riposte,
and this letter is dated the 16th of March 2021. But what had
Ghana Audit Service? And he says, handing over of administration of Audit Service. This refers to your letter dated the 16th of March 2021, but preposterous to me because I've been out of office for more than 8 months. Furthermore, and he catalogues 5 issues, and we'll walk through them. The first one, paragraphs of the Auditor General to Mr. Johnson Ekwuamoah Asiedu, who has been in charge since 1st July 2020. Then the second point, the letter from the Secretary to the President referred to Section 27 of the Labour Act. The section provides that at least 30 days' notice shall be given to the worker prior to the commencement of the leave. So he's building on the points. Point 3, on the 30th of June 2020, and he has been in charge for over 8 months. So you see the sequence of events. And then he says, 4, when I resumed work on the 3rd of March 2021, Mr. Johnson, of the 3rd of March 2021, the day I resumed work, I received a letter from the Secretary to the President requesting that if you so wish, please direct the Acting Auditor General to hand over to me, and I will thereafter hand over to him. Signed, Daniel Yao Domelevo. He also copies
Service Board and its chairman, Ms. Professor Diajiman, and of course the former Auditor General, Daniel Domelevo. He's been pushing back at the directive by the board to submit his handing over. We'll bring you more on this developing issue. But to other stories now, and former Deputy Energy Minister Amin Adam says oil and gas exploration and production company Tullow government generates more revenue before the fall of oil prices. This comes as the civil society platform on oil and gas calls on government to empower, which Ghana has in abundance. Many of the world's leading oil exploration and production companies are set to abandon exploration and production in countries like Ghana. Dr. Steve Mantia.
No oil industry and therefore no revenues to finance our free SHS. And so when we get to that point, you will need that is why it becomes very urgent for GNPC to begin to take its operatorship role seriously and provide whatever it will take for GNPC to build this capability.
That's Dr. Steve Mantia with the Civil Society Platform on Oil and Gas. Well, with Energy Minister Dr. Amin Adam says government is taking steps to avert that. He spoke to my colleague, Kwesi Parker Wilson.
Because on the oil and gas industry, that it cannot be business as usual. It is facing competition from renewable energy. Funding is, and therefore, demand for fossil fuel is going to go down because people may not need fossil. Invest in exploration so you can identify where the oil deposits are and you can recover them as quickly as possible and generate them.
Do a lot of investment so that we can explore more.
Yes, and this is why the MPP government has tried to attract credible, serious companies to come into Ghana. ExxonMobil is here. Therefore, all these are so important in order to position yourself to exploit the resources as quickly as you can.
But we are told that these companies should be shut down.
Concerned.
Right.
Of course, we have depleted so much already. And within the next 1 or 2 years, we may go into a decline.
See.
In order for the field not to go into decline, so production doesn't go down, so that they can maximize and optimize, if you like, keep production. By the end of the year or next year, they should be recovering some more oil from the new wells they are going to drill.
That's the former Deputy Energy Get It, because the Finance Ministry says there's simply no money to meet such demands. Indeed, this situation is likely to persist until 2024. Government is projecting payment on loans and compensation, having virtually nothing for development, contributing to a discussion on the budget organized to tighten its belt for harder times.
And if you look at the budget, COVID-19 is not expected to abate until the end of 2023. Because we don't have money to fund those things. You realize that between wages and compensation, or the mandatory transfer, which is required by law, get fund transfer, national health insurance, DACF, if you net out all those, that portion alone is not even enough to pay for wages and salaries. If you pay for wages and salaries, that portion you are lending, plus for goods and services, as well as capital expenditure and social intervention programs. So it is not a rosy picture, and we've got to call a spade a spade. So government must give that. The reality is that the money is not available, and we must well recognize that.
Bank of Ghana, Philip Otu, says the bank has confidence in the ability of government to meet obligations contained in the 2021 budget.
The intention underpinning the macroeconomic framework in the 2021 budget is to ensure the implementation of its programs. In this vein, what the budget has done is to carefully look at expenditure and revenue measures and see just remain, and all these challenges will have to be also assessed while looking at the budget implementation. On our side here, also to ensure that the banking sector continues to remain stable to help support economic activity.
Philip Otu is head of research at the Bank of Ghana. So, Kwesi Parker-Wilson, it got off to an interesting start yesterday. What are we to expect today?
Well, of course, today we're going to continue the tour of the, and so MPs are getting themselves ready. It's almost a full house, but before then, already some statements are being delivered, show that more women are being vaccinated, and if they do so, they're going to encourage more people to also get vaccinated. Then
That's our correspondent, Kwesi Parker-Wilson, and amongst others, Parliament will be deliberating on whether to approve or reject the new tax where they are. Some of the angry residents are questioning the rationale for the new charges. According to them, they used to pay between 300.
Averagely, before the COVID relief came, we were paying average of 400, 300. We were asked to pay a whole amount of 800 to 900 Ghana cedis, which was not what we were paying.
I personally then realized that a bill that we used to pay somewhere, sometimes 60 cedis or 70 cedis, had been. So now the bill came into 120 Ghana cedis.
120 Ghana.
I tell you, yeah. So almost even if you look at it, the president came and said that he paid a April bill for us free. Before that bill, normally the average I would pay. By this March 1, the bill came 900 and something. We were surprised. So low. The increment is cut across the whole community. It means the whole community has a leakage. So if I say leakage, but there's no leakage in my house.
The Ghana Water Company Limited. So far, it's been unsuccessful. Let me take you to the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, now, where police in the Ashanti region. The blaze swept through 4 rooms in the apartment in which they live, affecting other families. The man report.
The 9-year-old boy, Prince Oti Atta, is said to have shown great potential. Wife and the twins. Landlord Daniel Opoku narrates, met his wife. Immediately I entered the house that night. She pleaded with me to. I called him and advised him against repeated assault of the woman. Mr. Opoku says deep into the night, he heard a loud cry for help, fled after starting the fire. he had locked the burglar proof. But I managed to save the woman and thrown it on the boy through the window.
Nanaya Ojima there with that report. And talking about deaths, 7 more COVID-19, 243 new cases were also recorded, bringing the country's total to 88,228. These cases being recorded, and is the vaccination having any influence on the spread? Where these new cases and deaths are being recorded?
Well, this data is for events on the COVID in critical condition and the total deaths of 691. In the latest data, we've just 2 shy of 700 deaths. That's 7 more that we've with 1,679 active cases. Volta, Western, Northern, Eastern, Bono, and Ashanti regions are with cases in the hundreds.
What actually is the latest on the vaccination?
Well, if you recall, when Ghana became the first country to receive the vaccines, AstraZeneca, we are almost out of stock of that 600,000 doses. But the service pegs the number of wastage doses at 5% of what we have administered so far. That should be.
The country are being used. What exactly is the situation?
Yes, we are told by Dr. Kwame Amponsa-Chiano, who's leading our vaccination program, that as we speak, and this is because that first and second doses of the Sputnik vaccines that we got are not the same quantities. So, for instance, if you get your first jab, the second jab must correspond with the first that you took. It's gone waste.
Okay.
We still have them.
Okay. Well, that's the head of our health desk, Fred Smith, there with the very latest on COVID-19 in the country. This back a directive by the board to submit his handing over notes within 2 weeks, describing it as preposterous. There's more on that on myjoyonline.com. Still to children in Kumasi, all you need to compete in this game are rubber bands.
We call it rapper or ebunabuno.
Jubilee Radio Qatar, Volta Premier and Kekali Radio in Ho, Lolonyo FM in Hohoi, Pando FM in Pando, Fafa
Sports now. Hello, Mubarak.
What does it mean for Ghana football? Joy Sports and Mensa Ando has the answers.
One of the key conversations in the aftermath to the next level. The GFA has given a hint of how it intends to go about that, and one of the things they mentioned is securing benefit. But the two associations have also agreed to exchange sports centers and installations, competitions, and training camps. Qatar have world-class facilities, or at least reduces it significantly. Other aspects of the partnership that Ghana stands to benefit are the technical and professional.
With that insightful report. But MFA, who is your favorite Brazilian player?
Ronaldinho.
Ronaldinho. Well, a striker who will replace the departed Kwame Opoku. So we now have 2 Brazilians in the Ghana Premier League. Fabio de Gama de Santos is there, then Vinicius as well. We also have a Japan.
Where Cape Coast High Court has adjourned the case challenging the qualification of the MP for Asin North, Joe Jachi Kwasin. Richard Kujonyako was in court. He joins us on the line. Richard, first off, give us a bit of a background to this petition and what the latest is. Data and submit their proposed issues that will guide that particular hearing. And it's time for our Ghana Man series. And as many Ghanaian children continue to develop taste for sophisticated electronic games on phones and gaming consoles, a game played by throwing rubber bands, we call it tie, on top of each other. In our Ghana Man series today, Love FM's
are busily engaged in the game Abunabunu. They're on vacation, and it's an opportunity to part ways with boredom. They use part of them for long. First, all contestants throw their bands to the ground.
It's a win when your rubber lands on that of a competitor. It's called a kiss, and it's a win, same as when it leaves a hole as a set diagram. If it lies in the middle like a concentric circle, it's not a win.
In the case where there's no clear winner after a long game and contestants are short of bounds, it's called fair.
Time before a winner emerges.
And there's pre, where one throw results in a win. When the contestant exhausts all,
Pay is when you do not have any rubber band.
Interesting game, Ebune. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. A number of stories that most of you are talking about. Don't expect to put out doomsday timetable for Volta, OT regions, amongst others. The Speaker of Parliament has also been talking about budget cuts for legislature. Judiciary won't be end.
You've worked hard for your money, and that is why we are constantly